All right, let's get started, traders. Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I want to give a warm shout out to everybody who is active in chat. Thank you guys for coming today. Amir Avand, DJ18, Top 10, Deepak Nishad, Toshad Sood. Everybody, welcome. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. Now, due to a few of our traders, you guys, trading on the platform and having awesome results, we have decided to come up with a video where we teach you how you can make your own strategy. I put a link in chat where we have our friend Mohammed from Egypt just walking us through his trading process, talking about his history and experience with Olymp trade, and just answering any kind of basic questions you guys might have. And what I realized was that his strategy actually works. He uses a unique combination of the Bill Williams fractals and the detrended price oscillator, and surprisingly, it does really well. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to delete all of the indicators off of my graph, absolutely all of them. It's going to be a clean graph. I did want to show you guys a few trades that I'm in. So obviously we have Johnson & Johnson. If you guys remember, it is definitely one of those companies that is going to be booming with their vaccine that beats all of the competition. It is one of the main vaccines to be administered in Europe. And if you guys remember, the pledge Johnson & Johnson did was they pledged to give free vaccines in the United States. And that's when we had this thing, right? The vaccine is free in the United States, but the few million that are going to be ordered for Europe are not free, and in other countries as well. So fundamentally, and you need to include fundamental analysis in your trading analysis, fundamentally, Johnson & Johnson is very sound and due to make a comeback with the general economic growth and also with the inclusion of their vaccine across the world. So I see Muhammad Tariq. Hey, welcome in chat. By the way, good to see you too, my friend. That's your video, by the way, that we're talking about. So good to have you guys with us. So Johnson & Johnson is the company that I'm in right now. You guys can probably sneak a few more trades in as the stop loss level I have is historic highs. And also, you know, at least we can get to this line right here, which is the ×2 of what we had from the bottom of this impulse to the top of, the bottom of this impulse to the top of this move. So I use the Fibonacci retracement in a very sneaky kind of way to give myself profit targets to some areas where we have no support and resistance levels. If you guys are interested in that, please write it in comments and we will discuss it at a later date. Today, I'm going to help you guys put together some strategies. I did want to share a few trades that I made. I seem to be on a roll and recovering, if not all of them, then at least most of my losses. One more asset that I wanted to show you guys was right here. Dropping down on the 1 hour graph. We just had a fantastic break of this level here. Let me outline it for you. And this includes in what you should do in your strategy. Always, always, always check the daily, check the, the global trend, right? We saw that the global trend was up and severely up. So anytime we have this kind of mumbo jumbo, it's a great place to make money, you guys. It's an easy place to make money. So once I found that level here on the hourly graph, I caught a breakout trade right here. I realized it was going to be flat, and it was flat for most of the day. I actually came back the next day, and I had the plus $700 to my account. So really good trade. I do see that there is more upward potential. So if you guys wanted to get in, you could probably sneak another trade in today. I'm not going to be taking this trade as I don't see it as a high probability trade, but nonetheless, it is a high probability that we're going to continue this global daily trend. Remember, Brexit has finished. The British people were one of the first to start administering the vaccine. Let's talk about this right now. What kind of fundamental drivers should you look at? So when I look at the blank screen, I'm obviously not blank in here. There are a few pieces of information that are loaded, and actually you can find all of those information bits right here in help, and special materials. Here under special materials, you can have the breaking news as it comes out. You can see that throughout the day, sometimes there will be several news that are relation to certain aspects and certain assets, and you can click here, turn on notifications to get a little blurb once that information comes out. Now, another place where you should be gathering your fundamental data is right here in Insights, and you can read articles from our analysts and watch previous streams and learn about the different assets. Like here, the U.S. real estate market, this was an article that I personally wrote, and it talks about the real estate market that's booming across several cities in the United States with a very high probability. And we do have that asset to trade right here under ETF, the real estate market. And you can have a look that since I wrote the article, there wasn't a more upward potential, and since April, we've been having this upward trend. Now, let's have a look at this. So we now know, write this down. If you guys are paying attention, write this down. It is something very important, guys. Give me one sec, please. All right. What I wanted to tell you guys that your fundamental analysis should start with politics, especially if you're trading assets from Europe, if you're trading assets from the United States. You always want to start with politics and government spending. The $1.9 trillion that President Joe Biden has signed into effect is going to do wonders to boost the stock market. If you guys have been watching recently, the S&P 500 and Dow Jones have reached record highs, and a lot of analysts across the world are saying that maybe we are coming to an area where it's going to be flat. It's going to be flat, or maybe a deeper correction like we saw in the NASDAQ recently. But what in reality is going to happen, we have an influx of cash. Americans are sitting on $1.5 trillion worth of savings. It's a 30% boost to their savings than levels in 2019 and 2018. It's the most amount of cash that Americans are sitting on ever. Now, why do you care? You probably don't live in America, but why should you care? Well, because it's one of the markets that is the best moving. It's one of the markets that moves one directionally. And hey, I love markets that move in one direction. That means I only have to focus on where should I buy. And that's a very good power move when you are trading. Now that we know about government spending, one thing to keep in mind when you're trading British assets or European assets like the euro dollar, the euro pound, is you want to think about trade relations. Now, we all have heard of the picture where the United States is in a war, a trade war with China. Believe me, that's not going to go anywhere. It was one of Joe Biden's sticking points that he's going to try to mess with Russia. He's going to try to mess with China. And what I mean by that is get rid of any kind of unfair trade practices. But for those countries that are lagging behind economically, it's obviously good trade practices for them. So there's going to be a tug of war. You want to watch out for that. When you read the news, these are key points you want to think about and consider in your trading operation. Now that we talked about that, there are a few more really powerful quasi-fundamental tools you want to use, and that is indexes. Indexes give you an understanding of market sentiment. Now, for those of you that are unaware what that word means, it's basically the feeling of the market, what other investors are feeling at this time. Now, as you guys can see, as we're making new highs with the S&P 500, people are willing to take more risk. People are vaccinated. 30% of the U.S. population has been vaccinated. That is a huge amount of people that are ready to get back to work, that are ready to start traveling. Airline companies are picking back up. So if you want another tricky trade to take, or not tricky, but another fundamentally sound trade, start looking at Boeing. Start looking at Boeing because they were in a terrible storm at the end of 2019. Their CEO left. Airplanes were crashing left and right. And I wish the graph showed us a little bit more of the history. Let's see if we can find it on our, here we go, FTT should have a bigger trade history. So yeah, the fall that they had in 2019, 2018, this fall here was huge. I earned a few $1,000s on my trade account, and afterwards it was just a terrible storm to plummet in. And you can see at what levels we're at now. Previously, Boeing was worth over $400. Now it's trading at $255. There is much more room for Boeing to grow. Trust me, guys. And so that's one of the things that you want to kind of consider. Now, back to indexes. So we know that the NASDAQ is going to be pushing record highs. We know that the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 are at record highs. That means investors are turned on. They're looking for ways to spend their money. They don't necessarily know, or they want to guess what's going to be growing. And so that means more and more stocks are going to be growing. Now, one other index that is just incredible in your trading is the basic dollar index. Now, I trade predominantly US dollar pairs. And the reason I do it because there is a lot of economic data coming out of the US every single week. There's a bunch of economic statistics that I can glance over, that I can interpret, and make a sound, reasonable trade. And so that is another part of your trade strategy. Notice that all of this is done before I even slap anything on my chart, before I even start taking trading technical analysis into consideration. So what do we have with the basic US dollar? We have US dollar slowly but surely and continuously coming back into strength. So this does make me wonder about certain trades like the Aussie US dollar, like the pound dollar, like the euro dollar. These are all trades that I'm going to be a little bit hesitant in, because the pound dollar is one directional, going up. Euro dollar is also one directional. And the fact that this is showing me that those dynamics are shifting makes me worry, and I don't want to take trades that do not have a high probability. So now those are all the backdrops that you should consider in order to have a fundamentally sound trading bias. So you have a position that you're willing to take. Now we plug in technical analysis, and this is where I love the Olymp trade platform. It basically gives you the 2 or 3 categories that you need to have on your screen. So you guys see here we have a trend category right here, trend indicators. We have a oscillators category right here. And we have a few drawing tools, including Fibonacci levels, which you guys should learn about using. You know we have a few videos on it. Make sure to have a look at this. I do want to remind you guys, if you have any questions in chat, go ahead and ask them right now. But I do appreciate that this information is bringing you some profit, and that you guys are enjoying it and learning something new. So you definitely want to have on your graph at least one oscillator, and you definitely want to have at least 1 or 2 trend indicators. Now, the reason I say 1 or 2 is you can slap on the Ichimoky Cloud and look at this. There's already a lot, maybe even too much on the screen right now. Well, you can go in to the Ichimoky Cloud and actually change some of the parameters. You can change the length of the Senku span. I'm not going to go through in detail what each of these indicators does, but basically at a glance you can tell if we're in a downtrend and an uptrend. The fact that the US dollar basic index has broken out of this huge cloud, it definitely means there's a change of trend, and that's what a trend indicator should show you. Another trend indicator that I personally respect and I love to use is the Bollinger Bands indicator. Now, there are a few assets that trade better with the Bollinger Bands indicator than other assets. For example, the British pound US dollar currency pair is one of the best assets to trade using the Bollinger Band indicator, because it is very, very structured, wave-like. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. And a lot of those assets that do that kind of move, that are very kind of, how would you say it? I don't want to say that they're square in the way that they move, but they move in very distinct wave patterns. That's what I'd like to say, distinct wave patterns. They are really good for the Bollinger Bands indicator. Now, another asset that, or another trend indicator that I use is a series of 3 exponential moving averages. One of them is 50, the other one is 100, and the other one is 200, which rarely gets used but offers some very valuable information. So something like this, you guys can draw it out on your graph, and they also show you what the trend is, when there's a change of trend. And like for instance, you guys see here, if I change this guy to a 10, we already have the cross. So right here, you guys, when we had the cross of the 10 over the 50, that was a buy signal from your exponential moving averages. So make sure to study. This is your work. It's not my job to right now tell you what each of these indicators does. But if you want to be the best trader you can be, you want to go through and learn each of these indicators, practice on the demo account, and see which one brings you the best profits on your demo account, and then incorporate that in your live trading. While you're learning all of this, you can take on some positions in stock trading. It kills me that a lot of you guys do not trade stocks. I want to say, what is wrong with you? Stocks in general, especially upward moving stocks, we have like Facebook, we have like Tesla. Unfortunately, Tesla right now is a very tricky market. I don't recommend you guys buy into Tesla. I do see that there's much more downside. Tesla's been crazy oversold. But things like Visa, MasterCard, these are all really good, and you want to be trading them on the Forex platform. The reason being the Forex platform is my Johnson & Johnson trade that I have open right here. It's been open for a few days. It's been open for 3 days now. Unfortunately, you can't do that on the FTT platform. Of course, you can make outsized gains on the FTT platform. If I would have made a $3,000 trade on the FTT platform, I would have made a lot more money right now. But I was not able to catch all of the volatility inside the day, and I wanted to put on a trade and leave it there and let it earn money for me. So I'm up $600 already with a very big size trade. Again, my stop loss is only 1,000. I had to put on a larger size trade so that I can make a larger income within a short period of time, but my stop loss was extremely, extremely short. Again, guys, mind that there was a level here, like here if I zoom in, there was a level here that price could have taken, and I put my stop loss below the previous swing low. And I wouldn't even consider that a swing low, but I just wanted it to be sufficiently far away, yet I don't want to lose too much. It's a fine balance that you have to find. And again, use the demo account before you put on a large position. Before I opened this Johnson & Johnson account, I opened up, see, I only have $6,000 on my demo account. It's super easy to refill. All you guys do is click this button right here, refill, and you get the money back. I use that account to practice my stop losses. All right? It's sometimes very time consuming to mathematically consider what your stop loss would be, considering the asset price, the multiplier that you use. I just quickly use the demo account to zoom and check out what my stop loss level would be and how big my position size should be. So go ahead and use that tool. Now back to our graph. So we have a graph of, what were we trading? Excuse me, guys. So we're looking at the British pound Swiss franc. Perfect. So now that we have a trend indicator, we have a few moving averages, you want to put on an oscillator. I will answer you guys' questions in chat. Let me just continue with the webinar. We have about 15 more minutes, so I want to get through all the information. Moving on to the oscillators. Now, I've probably been through all of these oscillators before in my life, and I have considered all of them for the pluses and minuses. And what I want from my oscillators is either to confirm or to dissuade me from taking a trade. And so you can use any one of these, but I find that a lot of trade signals you can get from the MACD. So one thing that I do is make the histogram extremely big, because the histogram in and of itself is one of the most powerful tools for this indicator. When we drop down below a certain level, that is an indication that, hey, despite us going higher, something is iffy, something is odd, and we had in between these 2 days was a sell signal. So when you got that sell signal and you knew that this market topped out, what do I mean by that, topped out? Well, you see how we're super close to this level and we're not breaking it? Like the bodies of the candle just don't go any higher. These 2 days right here and then this day right here was an indication of weakness. You guys are athletes, right? This is a financial sport. And when you smell blood, when you smell weakness, you should also be smelling opportunity. When I see that an asset gives me these small but significant clues of weakness, I then may consider shorting. There's a bigger picture that it's a huge uptrend, so I don't necessarily want to take that trade, but it is something that some of you short-term traders can really make use of. For FTT trades, this is the perfect strategy. You try to sniff out the weakness in that asset. So, one oscillator, MACD, we can try to put on another one, like the RSI. RSI may look similar to the CCI, the Commodity Channel Index, but it shows us a totally different picture. The RSI shows us when we're above the line, that means it's too much. It's worth too much. We don't want to buy anymore. When we are hanging around above the line, we don't want to get into a buy trade. But when we dip in below this level, just like the MACD, the RSI indicator in between these 2 days has showed us that this is a sell signal. Excuse me. So another potential sell signal or a potential divergence from what we are trying to do. Say we're trying to buy, obviously not a good time to buy. Now, another one you can use perhaps is the demarker. It works very similar. It has a different ratio, but again, it shows us when we can sell. And if you look, the sell signal, again, for all of these indicators appears at the same area. Now, the only thing that there's a few other ones, like we have the Aroon indicator, which is made up of 2 lines, and they basically show you if we're in an uptrend, you want the up line to be up, the down line to be down. I have a separate YouTube video about it. Let me go and show you, give you guys the link so that you can learn about the Aroon indicator. I go into depth about who the creator was, what kind of signals you can get. I will find it for you guys right here. First bear. Just an extra added bonus for you guys so that you can have a look at it in your own time. Make sure to save these indicators. I'm going to pin it to chat. So, you can use a lot of these indicators. They have their kind of own benefit to them, and some of you may visually find them appealing. What you want to go off of is statistics. Statistically, does this indicator give you a good, solid trade signal, or is the indicator a lot of white noise? White noise basically means it distracts you and does not give you good trade signals. To me, that is the most important asset. Statistically good and not distracting. What you don't want to have is you have one indicator going this way, price going this way, and then the oscillator hanging around the middle. It will confuse you as a beginner. So again, my recommendation is to use one trend indicator, 1 or 2 oscillators, and then drawing the basics on the graph. What I mean by basics is what I have on my graph here. Support and resistance, trend line. That's it. You don't need much more. You don't want to have your graph be crazy and to have your kids looking at the computer like, wow, that's so beautiful. That's not the goal. We want statistically sound trade signals. That's it. That's what we're looking for. And so I think that basically wraps it up. You guys can create your own strategy. Just like Muhammad Tariq did, you can create a strategy that suits you, that will work. And one of the things you guys can do, because you guys have live traders that are available to you every single week, you can ask us questions about what indicator is good for you and tell me about the combination that you have. If you catch me on a day where I'm really looking to answer some of your questions, I will go through your strategy with you in order to analyze it, and maybe I'll learn something new. So now I have a few more minutes. Let me go ahead and check out your questions in chat. All right, I see Varun was going ham in chat. Thank you guys so much. So Amir, thank you for stepping up and being the stand-up guy. let me check what you guys are asking and see if I can help you with your trading. So Anadi Vikram Mishra is asking, how do I decide which stock or currency to trade? Well, you definitely want something that is trending. You want something that has a lot of volatility. Now, how do you measure volatility? We have the average directional index. Oh, excuse me, not the average directional index. We have the, where is it? Rate of change right here, you guys. This rate of change indicator, it is in the oscillators category. This shows you how much the asset has changed lately. So as you guys see, when we plateau, the volume of trades that go through on the asset falls significantly. And so you want to use the rate of change to kind of gauge where's a good time to buy. Now, one thing is that it is lagging. It is a lagging indicator. It looks at the 14 last periods, the last ones, not today and yesterday, but 14. What you can do is you can actually lower this to something smaller. I wouldn't recommend going below 5 because 5 trading days is really a solid amount of time that you can gather volatility. So what you want to do is combine everything that I said today. So Anadi, you can listen to the webinar again because I said some really technical stuff in the beginning about what you should focus on. To me, in my trading, yes, sometimes I open trades clearly on technicals, like the pound Swiss franc trade was a specifically technical trade. I saw the technics line up. I knew a little bit of the history of the British pound, but mostly it was the technical data screaming buy. Right now is a good time to buy. Now, a lot of my other trades are based on fundamental analysis. What I have read in the news, what I have read that is changing within assets, within countries, then that's what you want to buy. Like I said, the Johnson & Johnson trade is one with a fundamental driver. I didn't even look at the graph. I knew that I wanted to buy. I didn't even look at the hourly graph. I just clicked buy on the daily graph with a sizable stop loss. That was the all right, so Samuel Josephson, my question is that advanced traders have more benefits and pairs return than others. I mean, lots of profits being an expert trader. The returns are huge. Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, if you are totally new and you're just having fun, you can stick with basic status. You don't need anything else. You know, you put $10, you put $100 on the platform, and you just have fun with it, right? You see, like a casino. That's not my recommendation. I don't think that is a very good approach. It's definitely not a reliable approach. But as you start to get better, you start to make more and more money on the platform, then what you want to do is definitely go up to advanced status. Now, you need to either top up your account more than $2,000 or make a lot of trades. Olymp Trade provides a really good loyalty system right here, guys. You can actually get expert status for free if you make enough trades. If you're a proficient enough trader, you can start, like I know a guy that started with $100 on the Olymp Trade platform, multiplied that to 500. Within a month, he had 1,500, and all the trades that he took, good and bad, got him expert status. So right now, on the FTT platform, he is making, as you guys can see if I show you my rate of return, so I have a few assets that give me more than 90% return. And that is, again, thanks to the expert status that I have on my platform. So you guys can see it goes up to 87, 84. That's, again, the better status you have, the better service you provide. Like if I have a technical issue, I can get on the phone or get in chat right here and help, and somebody will help me right away. If not right away, then within an hour, I usually receive a call or an email. So very helpful. If you want to treat trading like a business, you obviously want to have the best status. So thank you for that question, Samuel Johnson. How to decide which indicator to use, please answer. So Huzabir Zubar, if you want my recommendation, I would use the CCI MACD oscillators and use the 3 moving averages like I have here for my trend indicators. The point of this webinar is to give you guys the courage to experiment, to try your own indicators and combine your trade strategy. I gave you the basics of what you need in order to have a working strategy. That's basically it. Which indicator is best to use as a newbie? So again, I did just answer that question. Remember, this video is recorded so you guys can watch it whenever you want. But as we're live, stick with me right now in chat. Muhammad Tariq is asking, may sound unrelated, but I wanted to ask you, how do you manage your time schedule? So very good question. Muhammad, I know because we had that personal discussion with you live on YouTube, but I know that you have a job that is not related to finance. I made the decision to stick with finance, to stick with trading. So I left my business development career and went into trading. And I started at the bottom. I would be in the call center answering calls. Then I would be the technical guy looking at the graphs and managing the data feed. And then I moved up to analytics and then regional trade manager. So that is kind of my day revolves around reading the news in the morning. So that's a good question. How do you manage your time? Every morning I would wake up and I spend about an hour going through the financial literature. So that would be Bloomberg, Reuters, Institutional Investor that I sent you guys, and any kind of mail outs that I get from any of my personal, I guess, trading friends or any email list that I have. So that usually takes me about an hour. That's when I'm already done doing a little bit of a workout, right? Every morning you do a little bit of a stretch. I always dress for the office, no matter if I'm staying home or like during the coronavirus pandemic. I would still be in my work clothes because I never want to be at home. I hate working from home. It's one of the worst things possible as a trader. And another thing that really helps me to make really good trades, I'm always analyzing the market. So I have my own page on TradingView, and I for free send out little trading ideas in the platform that they have there. So I'm always kind of looking for a trade idea and always listening to what my colleagues are doing. It's always good to trade in a group. This is why I always told you guys, share these videos with your friends, because when you have a bunch of friends, they are going to be looking at those strange assets that you may not consider, like Ethereum. How many of you guys in chat right now, how many of you trade Ethereum? Go ahead, put some pluses in chat. I bet you there's not going to be more than 3 pluses, not maybe more than 2 pluses. Ethereum is just not something that a lot of people trade. But sometimes Ethereum is better than Bitcoin. Sometimes it has better trade signals than Bitcoin. So it's always good to have a group with you, because more eyes means more graphs are getting looked at. And that's the other thing, guys. Don't be lazy. Do not be lazy. You always want to be going through the entire list of assets. Olymp Trade does not have like 40,000 assets, right? We have a few hundred assets, and you need to be looking at them daily once you become proficient at reading your trade strategy. Like, that's why you see in my webinars, I have the same darn indicators, the same. It's not because I don't want to experiment. I experiment all the time, but on my demo account. When I'm looking to make some money, I want to extrapolate that profit from the market. I want to be very systematic. I'm kind of rigid. I'm kind of systematic. It's like, nope, nope, nope. Like, I would quickly look through the assets like this. Nope, nope, nope. I'm looking for a relation of price to the moving averages. Remember, these are levels of support and resistance. So if I see that we are in a larger uptrend and we touch the bottom line, then I'd be like, yep. And I don't trade right away, right? I have a book. It's kind of like this, my Vincent van Gogh book. But I have a book of trades that I write down every day. And that is very important, guys, that you write down your trades in your trade journal. You kind of look at the statistics that you had, but you also look at your watch list. This is something that should not be ignored. Guys, sometimes in my webinar, I give you guys free trade ideas. This used to be a paid service. Now it's free because I kind of shout out my watch list. If it's on my watch list, then gosh darn it, it should be on your watch list too. So make sure to remember that information, write it down, because it's free good trades that I, as part of your trading team, that I have shouted out, that I've given you. And that's what professionals do. If you guys ever watch what a professional trading floor looks like, they're all one team. Despite some of them maybe having different views and each has their own bank account, they all have their bankroll that the company gives them. Everybody is working in unison as a team, and so if there's an easy trade to take in the market, they share it all the time. And that's what I try to do with you guys as well. Ravi Pratar, I'm really sorry to hear that, bro. Learning now by demo, best route to take, Piyush Keshuyab, good luck. So Samuel Josephson with another great question. Why does the Forex platform for stocks and others start at a certain time? Seems the Olymp trade market starts a little bit late, or what do you think? Most of the times I feel frustrated, we miss the chances. Absolutely not. There is a 5-minute lag. I give you that. But the market, for me, opens at exactly the same time it opens up in the United States with a 5-minute lag. But you know what? I'm okay to miss that 5-minute lag because I never enter right at the bell. I first sit there and wait for a big impulse. Like, let's go ahead and open. I'll show you what an impulse looks like. Say for 3M, drop down to about a 5-minute chart, and then look at the open. So 16. So this is all yesterday's. Actually, this is today's move. Is this really? So here we have 16:35 is when that candle opened. 16:30, this was the first 5 minutes. Nothing happened, and now we're having a little bit of a down day. I've watched enough openings in the stock market to know that if we open with a gap down like this, it's very likely that the platform will go down here, that the price action will try to cover that gap. That's how stocks move. In majority of the times, they gap up and then shoot down, gap up and shoot down. But again, you want to have a high probability trade. You want to see something that opens like this is obviously going to keep going down. Have a look at this. AMD is in a tight spot right now. I don't know why, but ooh, look at that. This is an uptrend. This is a specific uptrend after a downtrend. So you see how important it is to watch different timelines. This is another thing you guys should always add to your trading strategy. Write this down. This is important. Always look at the 1-day chart frame, the 1-hour chart frame, and then something like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. I usually never drop below 30 minutes. So look at all of those graphs. They will show you different pictures. You want to have a general understanding of what is going on in the market. So there is that 5-minute lag, but other than that, it's a great, it's an absolutely great, the start is absolutely at the same time that the market opens. All right, moving on. I'm just reading your questions, guys, real quick. Muhammad Tariq is asking, what is the best period for the MACD for FTT trades? Really hard to say. The indicators give you the best results the bigger the time frame. So again, if I do trade FTT, I never make a trade, you know, smaller than like half an hour. I will occasionally make a trade for you guys, but it's usually more for action. I don't expect to win any 1-minute, 5-minute trades in reality. So always you want to have, I want to be catching reversals, so that's why your strategy has worked so well for you, because FTT works fantastic with reversals. And for the MACD indicator, let's go ahead and slap it on and maybe have a look together. I would recommend somewhere between 1 to 3 hours for the MACD if you're looking at a 1-hour time frame. That is for sure the way to go. Thank you guys for standing up to Aroon and chat. I appreciate it. Coach, you once taught that it's good to make targets. Absolutely. What will happen after you set targets and you have achieved them daily and seems the market is inviting? Should you quit or continue? Continue, for sure. I never. So, guys, the only time you should stop trading is if you lost more than 20% of your account. This is a rule. It's a very strict rule for me because I'll tell you how it happens. You have more losses and then you lose even more. It's a psychological trick. It's called going on tilt. And actually you can Google Olymp trade global tilt and you'll see a few videos that we made around this topic. It's very common. Everybody has this issue. But if you're having a good day and you're making a killing and you're winning, never stop. Control yourself. Understand that a lot of it is luck, a lot of it is your good analysis, and a lot of it is volatility in a certain part of the day. It doesn't mean that you're going to continue making it throughout the day. And remember, when a different market comes on, when the US market goes to sleep and the Japanese wake up and they start trading, they may have a certain view on the market, or they may have new information and something will change. So that's why if you're trading and you're trading good, I don't see a reason to stop. Statistically, because I'm a statistician, in the year you will have 1, 2, or 3 days that make you the most amount of money. It's true. It's not only my statistic, it's a statistic for bank traders. Goldman Sachs traders have said they made 95% of their capital on 5 days out of 300 days of trading in the year. It's 200 and something, but basically that's a huge number. So one thing it tells you is you never want to miss trading days. And the second thing is you want to make sure that if you're having a good day, that you continue with the good day until you stop seeing the market do good moves. After you stop seeing volatility come in the market, or you get stopped out and you don't really understand why you got stopped out. That to me is an indication that I don't understand the market right now. I need to take a break. And actually, Muhammad Tariq, this is for your question about how to plan your day. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, you definitely want to leave a few hours to yourself so that you can recover, but also leave an hour or two. And I say 2 hours because that's how professionals are made. After your workday, every hour you put on extra will increase the speed you get to a world-renowned level. Facts, guys, all human beings are lazy. All human beings will at one time or another give up. All human beings usually do not have the drive to continue many years with the same exact thing. And that's why to those people that continue studying trading for many, many years, they're obviously going to get better. You're obviously going to get to a level of some sort of sufficiency and proficiency. So you're going to be making more money than when you started. But you need to be more than human. You need to be a little bit more dedicated than your neighbor, than your friends, than your boss. Super important that you guys put in that work. You will see the results. So Samuel Johnson, can we trade with you? Macedonia, BC. Absolutely. Explain what you mean. Can you trade with me? I don't think I'll be putting on any trades right now. I might. Hey, I'm a beginner. I want to learn everything. That's a really good mind frame. Is the combination RSI and stochastic is enough for trading? Actually, there's an indicator that's called the stochastic RSI. Somebody beat you to it. So where is it? Here it is, guy. So this is for Walid Faris. Here we have the stochastic RSI, which combines the stochastic and the RSI together in one. So actually, you can have both of these. I don't think stochastic needs RSI because if you have a look at them, they show you almost the exact same thing. So here's stochastic and RSI. So one of them is a little bit more sensitive. You want the cross of the two lines and then dipping down, whereas this gave us the sell signal right around here. So maybe even the RSI is a little bit forward thinking, and that's why I like the MACD. It does sometimes show you right when the change happens, right when the indicator shifts. Hi, search hack Apple. I think it's starting to hag it. Let's have a look at Apple. So yeah, this is going to be one of those stocks that I'm looking for a reversal. You guys see how it's dropping down? Ooh, that changes the picture. I just want to illustrate how important it is that you check the daily graph and then the 1 hour graph. So Apple has been doing relatively bland. Like I don't see a trade signal right now. I mean, you might want to sell into this weakness. I haven't read up everything on Apple and what their finances look like. See, to me, right here, confusing. Bro, I do not want to be looking at this at all. Like, we have a gap up, a sideways day, we have a gap down, and then it continues. Like, again, if we look at the 5-minute graph, we have a gap down and a continuation. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Apple. Honestly, we are coming up to the 50 EMA. But is it a correction? Are we going to be moving higher? This is the kind of stuff I want to stay away from. I do not trade assets that look as confusing as this. If it's in a channel, honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't have a good channel trading strategy at all. Buy low and sell high, I guess. Sell from resistance, I guess. But right here, what Apple is showing today makes me scared. I want to keep my money in my pocket, or on my account at least, so I don't recommend trading Apple right now. Don Rueda, having fun all year. Guys, this is also important. Do you know why I stuck through all the losses that I had? Because I'm having fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy trading. I enjoy risk. Well, not necessarily risk. I don't enjoy risk. But I enjoy making what I kill. Do you understand? Like, I made the money. I beat the market. I outsmarted somebody, and I read the market correctly. I read the volumes. I read the sentiment. I read the news correctly, and I understood what's going to happen. It all feels good for me. So it's not only financially rewarding, it's also intelligently stimulating. So I think you should have fun with it. If you're not having fun, if you don't love it, consider that maybe it may not be for you. But the skills you learn, you will keep them for life. Trading has changed my personal life. I've become able to control my emotions better. I've been able to analyze certain risky situations, like say at a bar or at a club, that I may have previously overlooked. And so I think it helps absolutely in all aspects of your life. Yeah, so Jayashri Ravikumar is saying that you can get expert status with only 99,000 experience. And one trade, like you can check out how much experience I earned right here. Oh, it doesn't show you the experience. Anyways, I earned a bunch of experience only from trading, and even from my losses, you still earn experience. I made 1 million on demo account. Adam Rueda, I would love to see your trade history. I would love to see how you went from $10,000 to 1 million. That to me is a fantastic result. You need to teach us this information. Really good. And always, of course, when you're losing real money, you become more greedy, so you take off your profit early and you let your losses grow. That's something that I've noticed when people trade real from the demo account. So it's always good to kind of transition into the real account slowly. Start with $100, start with $1,000, no more, until you can control your losses and control your emotions. And then it's basically doing the same thing but adding a zero. Doing the same exact thing that you did before but adding a zero. So you kind of work with the same understanding that you're always winning or losing money and be okay with it, and then you can kind of have a rigid yet effective system. So we're going to start wrapping things up, guys. No more new questions. Let me see if I can issue something real quick. So how can I be better at fundamental analysis? Come to my webinars. Out of all of the Olymp trade analysts, I'm probably the one that is most focused on fundamental data, and it's not necessarily statistical fundamental data. I, of course, look at the economic calendar, but then I also read what the mass sentiment is like. You have to understand these guys like Bloomberg and Reuters, they try to influence the market. They have their hand in the game. A lot of their analysts, they actually take positions in the stocks. Now, it is required by law to kind of state what stock you're in. You guys always see the positions I'm in as I conduct these webinars, so you need to be a little bit scrutinous with the information that you intake. Hey, Mohammed, Tariq, Amir, and Tinker all trade Ethereum. So I guess I got it right, 3 guys. And you are the guys that I would expect to be trading these exotic assets. Oh, Samuel Josephson also be trading. So what is the issue with US dollar? I would imagine that there is a lot of market news. Also, remember, guys, they just got, every family in the United States got $1,400. So $1,400 to each family in the United States. Consider that last year they got $1,500. So $3,000 for free just for being an American. That's obviously going to give guys extra cash to spend, and you guys know that there's been a retail trading boom in the world, not only in the United States, so obviously they are going to be they're going to be spending that money, and in my opinion, inevitably that money finds its way into the stock market. So not a lot of things going on in terms of what's happening with the US dollar. We do have some where is it? Jobless claims. Here we have jobless claims. So there's 700 people losing their jobs. Excuse me, almost 1 million people lost their jobs. But it is dropping, right? The figure is dropping from last last week, or excuse me, last month. Remember that when you're trading currencies, currencies are a little bit difficult to trade. They do move a little bit more smoother than stocks, but they for sure, you need to consider two factors. Whatever the currency that is pairing with the US dollar, sometimes it will have more volatility than the US dollar itself. Sofiane Benz, is Forex better or FTT? It depends on your, I guess, emotional makeup. To me, FTT is a little bit hard because inevitably I'm always looking at where my trade is going to be. With Forex, I kind of put it on and forget about it for the time that I think I will need. And also I set up the stop loss and take profit, and it kind of gives me more control over my trade, but I make less. But I trade more than you guys do for sure. So to me, Forex makes up for it. But a lot of people that have a little bit of time, they trade FTT because you can make 92% of your trade in 1 minute. 1 minute you can make a few $1,000s. That's why FTT has that appeal to a lot of people. All right. Also, Yaroslav, thanks for making me learn from my bad trades. Improved so much. Please, we want you and Angie to come up more than once a week. Please. Hey, I'm coming on tomorrow as well, guys. So every week you'll probably see a video from me and a video from Angie. But this week I'll be on 2 times. So you guys can catch me tomorrow as well. All right. Let's wrap up these questions. You guys have been so curious today. Absolutely. Kingsley, this has been my... So Kingsley Unizi is asking, why can't we export our Excel spreadsheet of our trades on Olymp Trade? It has been my biggest, absolutely biggest problem for trading in Olymp Trade. So the only thing you guys have here is the dashboard, and you can kind of check right here. But there is no way to download a spreadsheet, and it's also an issue for me as well. So you can try to do it by hand, like take it like this, copy it, and put it in a spreadsheet. That will work, but you'll have to do a little bit of spreadsheet manipulation in order to get the picture that you want. Buenos dias, Laura Angelica. Why markets are starting earlier than usual? Guys, remember that the United States, they change 1 hour here. Like when it comes springtime or summertime, they shift the market to be sooner for 1 hour. And then in the wintertime, they move their time back for 1 hour. And so markets start later for 1 hour. This is something you need to keep in mind, and we don't change it. The US market opens, we provide the data. Again, Olymp Trade does not own and or change the graph. What you see here is provided to us by the markets and by the banks who we have a data agreement with. And those guys don't affect the data either. They gather it from the markets. So that's kind of... We have no control of when the markets start. No, binary or FTT is not gambling. It is it's basically an options contract. It's a hard options contract, and you can find options trading in any kind of market as well. Thank you, Mohammed Tariq, for your kind words. Market based on algorithm, and who is the quotation provider? Sure. Honestly, because there's so many sources, like there's the US stock market, so the New York Stock Exchange gives us one data feed. Those are for the stocks and the index. The European Euro stocks market gives us the European indexes. The CAC 40 comes from the French stock index. There's so many of these providers, and obviously we're also looking to give you guys the best what's it called, for your trades to go through quickly as well. And so that we need a data provider that will allow us quick execution for the trades as well. Can I buy Bitcoin at 50,000 USD? Good question. You know, Bitcoin it's good when you get in on that climb, me personally, I would ignore it afterwards. Once it starts doing that decline, it's super hard to find a good entry point. Like even for me, I find that I just want to look at it easier asset to trade. In trading, why is it better than going to a casino? Why is trading better than baseball? Because in baseball, when you're standing at the pitch and you have a ball thrown at you, you have to hit or you have to pass. There is no other choice. In trading, you are in control. You decide when to open the trade. You decide for how much, and in the case of Forex, you decide when to close it. That is very incredible control. That's why I in no way see trading related to gambling at all. When you're in that much of control, you can use statistics and analysis to tilt the odds in your favor. And this is something that you guys can probably hear from good traders anywhere in the world. Edge. You need to have an edge. You need to have something about your trading strategy that is better than anybody else you know or anybody else you may know. Does that make sense? You need to have an advantage over other people in trading. Yeah, so Suyed Muzami, I have no idea what's going on in the US dollar. I don't see it fluctuating, to be honest. Will Apple fill the gap? Again, I don't know, guys. I'm not like a mind reader, nor do I want to sound stupid. It would sound so stupid of me to say, oh yeah, I think Apple is going to fill the gap today, and it's going to be a good buy trade, ladies and gentlemen. That's not trading. Trading is seeing proof of an idea, and only after you see that proof, then you enter. I have no proof of Apple and its decision to go up or down today, and I have no idea what the banks that control the currency market are doing with the US dollar. I don't, and I don't pretend to know, and neither should you. And you shouldn't look. If somebody tells you that, turn off the YouTube channel right away. If somebody says, yeah, I think it's going to go up, and don't tell you why, don't provide any kind of bias, don't provide any kind of information, they're lying to you. It's a lie. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Not even the banker with the most amount of dollars. He does not know what's going to happen to the US dollar. Because the central bank may change something tomorrow and it will fall. And all his dollars will mean nothing. That's the truth about trading, you guys. Holy smokes, the tablet DJ is a demo account millionaire. Or almost millionaire. All right, Jayashri Ravikumar, thank you for your kind words, sir. How to deal with fear about trading? Take a break and start small. If you're afraid of losing more money, you have already stepped over the risk parameters. I'll tell it to you guys like this. If ever your trades that you put on and you leave them overnight, say you have a Forex trade, if you think about that trade when you are sleeping, there is a problem. Trading should never cause you pain in your personal life. You should never be so worried about a trade. If that happens, you need to lower the trade amount. Guys, I put on a $3,000 trade and I'm not worried about it, and it doesn't hurt me when I sleep. Ooh, look at that. What a terrible open. What a terrible open. What is going on in the US? Holy smokes. Even if it goes down and I lose the $900, first of all, I'm going to be watching this. So my number one recommendation is don't watch those trades that are doing good. Let them grow. Let them do their thing. But trades that are losing money, you need to be watching them. And so I'm going to be watching this trade. And also after this continues or after this stops, you guys should buy in. That's kind of the gist of it. I may make another trade right here if I see it continue up. I may make another trade. That does not look good. All right. What's the meaning numbers in the indicator? You can set like 500, 100, and 200. So that is the period amount. So this is for Kenny Lloyd Plaza. The numbers that I changed in the exponential moving averages is the amount of candles that it considers. So this 200 means that this red candle reads 200 of these candles. And it changes based on the time frame. This is 200 5-minute candles. But if I go here, then this red line is 200 1-hour candles. So it's basically the amount, the trade amount that you that it considers in the mathematical formula that it is. I do recommend buying Johnson & Johnson, guys. Do you see how it's fluctuating down and it gets knocked back up? This is an indication that there's strength. This is an indication that there's a few traders that want to get in. What kind of thing are you looking for? So this is when our indicators come in. Let me go ahead and slap these on. So CCI and MACD. So when we have the CCI on the 5-minute graph go back up, the price goes above 160. Guys, 160 is the entry point for Johnson & Johnson. I'm entering another one. So I want it to fix, I want a 5-minute trade above 160, above this line here. I want the CCI indicator to come in and cross, listen, cross the 0 line right here to the top. Yes, you can open when it comes above the minus 100, but the best signal with the lowest probability of loss is when we cross the 0 line and the MACD histogram going up and maybe a cross in the moving averages on the 5-minute graph. So again, right now, I'm glad I didn't take the trade because that's the reason why I have the oscillators. They confirm a trading bias to where my eyes maybe don't understand. I have a certain bias now, but I want mathematics to prove my point. Thank you so much, Samuel Josephson. I'm glad you found it and found it. Great. Guys, let's leave it at that. So I answered a lot of your guys' questions, a lot of information. I don't want you to be too overburdened with new information. How to find the turning point for an asset with oscillators. So that's what oscillators do, is they show a change of trend, a cross in the MACD right here of the moving averages, or a cross. See how this histogram right here is up and this one is down? That means they crossed the 0 line. That's when you want to open up the sell trades. And also the CCI indicator, it doesn't show a reversal as much as it shows an impulse to trade. Maybe you could consider right here, you see how it dropped below the 0 line? And then we had to move down. That's what I mean by waiting for a 0 line, because that will then shift the dynamics of the trade. And now my trade is very, very nerve-wracking to me. I'm going to be sitting here watching the market action and probably reading what's going on with Johnson & Johnson. Trading is a business. It's not like a business. It is a business. And if you consider it anything other than that, then you are not prepared for the life of a trader. You're not prepared for what's going to happen to you, to your emotions, and to your deposit in trading if you don't trade it like a business. All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. You guys have been very kind. I know we went over an hour, but the information is definitely worth it. Thank you guys for sticking around to the very end. I wish you guys good luck in your trading out there, and see you guys tomorrow. And tomorrow's video is going to be about a trade battle between analysts. That's right. So tomorrow is going to be a battle between me and Angie. We're going to spice things up, and we're going to see which one of us can make more money within a 30-period time frame. You guys can join us too and get a little bit of that action for yourselves. So my name is Yaroslav Burchenko. With Olymp Trade, we wish you guys good luck trading out there, and see you all next time. Peace.